We're live.
Hooray. Oh, yes.
Excellent. Okay, we'll give it just a second to get some people in the chat, but I'm sure that they are probably...
No, there's a bunch of people waiting. So
already here.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
They're
So let us go ahead and start.
Yes. Oh, my God, you guys.
All right. So we are back with a little bonus spoiler cast. If you have not seen Avengers Infinity War, you do not want to listen to this. We are going to spoil everything. And I promise you, you do not want to have these things spoiled for you. If you don't care about spoilers, you care about spoilers, turn this off and wait until you've seen the film.
Yeah, honestly, y'all, I never care about spoilers. I would totally have cared about spoilers for this.
Turn it off.
Yeah. The only people that aren't in danger of spoilers are people who would have read the original comics. And even for me, it had been so long, right, that I didn't remember jack or shit about it. So if you know how the shit goes in the Infinity War comics and remember it really well, maybe.
Maybe. Well,
but even then, I still wouldn't.
It's fine. You're all adults. You have been warned. So,
yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh my God.
I was blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that movie was so great that, like, I didn't notice how much time had gone by.
I had
so
no
when we
idea.
get to the point when everybody starts collapsing into Void Ash, I was like, okay, so now Doctor Strange did something with the Time Stone because he said, Tony, it had to be this way. And so now we're going to get the whole heroic comeback thing. And I'm like, no, that's not happening. Why isn't that happening?
Why are there credits rolling?
Yeah, why is the end credits rolling? What's going on? Why is it quiet? Yeah, just stunned fucking silence everywhere.
It's funny because when I went into this film, literally sitting during the trailer, I always avoid trailers, so I'm always on my phone, and I happened to see someone post, like, am I the only one who doesn't like superhero movies? They just are all the same to me. Like, it's all just the same story over and over. And all I could think as I was watching the end of this film was, holy shit, no, they're not.
No,
they're fucking not. I was so shocked by the end of this fucking film. I also am, again, and I know we talked about this with Black Panther, but I'm going to talk about it again. The MCU and Marvel and Disney is doing so well with developing villains,
yes,
who are not crazy, and you can definitely go like, okay, I don't agree with your methods, but I do understand your
also like points. Right, and also it's kind of the most fair way to do, like,
yeah, if you're gonna kill off literally half of all sentient life, then making it as quick and painless as possible for them,
and also like seemingly pretty random, just a
right
flip.
And Thanos even said at one point, like, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, like, it's just across the board, you have an equal chance.
The great equalizer, death.
Yeah.
Damn, that was some shit. Oh God, with T'Challa, I don't know, you guys, I'm so glad that I know that Black Panther 2 is coming out, because oh God, his last moments, I was just like, I'm General up. This is no place to die.
I know. I was so upset, and
at least she's still alive.
I'm also, yeah, for sure. But yeah, when T'Challa went, I was so upset. But yeah, knowing that they're like,
can you imagine if we didn't know about the Marvel phase plans? If we were just left completely fucking hanging?
If we didn't know that he had to come back in some form or another, I guess he doesn't necessarily have to, because you can pass the mantle on. But regardless, if we weren't pretty sure that Chadwick Boseman was coming back, I would totally support, like, all Black people everywhere rioting in the streets.
I know, right?
It would be so unfair to offer them this beautiful story and this beautiful representation, and then to just take it away like that. Of course, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but holy shit.
I went into, like, full, like, denial mode that you think only happens in movies where people are like, no, this can't be happening. Like, my brain was screaming that at me, and I was like, brain, you've gone to the movies. You're in the movie now, brain.
Well, it was like, they're gonna pull some weird, like, Twilight shit on us where there's this cool action sequence, but then it was really just in somebody's mind or, you know, especially when he goes to, like, the weird dream world with baby Gamora, and it's like, oh, okay, so it's some sort of weird retcon. They're done.
That's how the movie ended. But yeah, I seriously did not notice just the time. Like, it went by so quickly, and I enjoyed it all. There was no, like, slow, draggy part to me.
Because all the character building and all of that shit had already been done in the other films. You didn't have to do any of that. You didn't have to do any setup. It was just like, here are these guys. You already know them. Plot point. Here are these other guys. You already know them too. Other plot point. Like,
I know that's the thing. Like, I saw this article where somebody was complaining about that. They're like, it's really like they're requiring you to have seen all the other. It's like, well,
yeah, they fucking are.
Like, and that's the thing. I feel like this is an ensemble. Like, it's the Avengers. It's not just one guy or one group or what. It's like, it's kind of the whole. It's meant to be the whole thing. It's like that's. Like a big draw for it is that
were these the same critics, who would have said like, so I wanted to go see Return of the Jedi, but who the fuck is Luke Skywalker?
I know,
right? Or like the 7th Harry Potter movie seems to require that you know who Harry Potter is, and I'm not okay with that. However, so it's a couple of critics that have put out reviews, and I think a lot of it is just fucking snobbery, and I'm a snob, right? But you can be a snob about comic book movies and demand only the best comic book movies, which is how I am a snob in that regard, right? Like, so if a comic book movie is fucking good enough, you should just fucking shut up and accept that shit. And this one totally is, as with Black Panther, really the last Spider-Man, like, again, they've been hitting it out of the park. However, so the internet at large has been dragging these motherfuckers, and it has been beautiful. Like, somebody screenshotted, like, one of the critics had written, like, they'd taken a caption from their review and saying that, like, these characters were never introduced. It seemed like we already had to know who they were to understand the movie. And somebody replied, yeah, just like in that other comic book movie, the Iliad. And it's like, yeah, everybody who listened to the Iliad 3,500 years ago already knew who all of the characters were because they'd consumed all of this other media. This shit has been around for a long fucking time. This is how humans tell stories.
That was literally the whole point, you dumb fuck.
Right, like, it's all been set up to intertwine and to, like, how they're going to bring everyone together, and, like, that's...
The other clapback that I really liked was, like, somebody showed up for the final but missed every session of the class.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Also, we have to talk about Spider-Man.
Oh God, yes, it was so...
Okay, so this movie was an emotional roller coaster, and, like, I have not been in a movie where, obviously not at the very end, but throughout, people were, like, audibly cheering in the crowd. Like, things would happen, when Thor finally shows up with his new little axe thing, like, everyone's cheering, and, like, there were a lot of scenes where people had cheered up until then. So, and especially, and then, like, people lost their shit. Like, I mean, especially when T'Challa died, like, it was what, like, that was when it was like, oh, shit just got fucking real.
Yeah.
So I went and saw this movie with my son.
Oh, who's Spider-Man's age?
Yes. And
that can't have been easy.
And as things are starting to go the way that they went, and people are starting to fucking die. And I mean, like, they started it out killing people off. Like, I mean,
oh my gosh,
like,
fucking
Loki right from the start.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, you just took Tom Hiddleston from me.
Yeah.
And he did we have a Hulk, and you're like, oh yeah, Hulk's totally going to beat up Thanos. No, Hulk does not beat up Thanos. The Hulk requires Heimdall's last minute heroic sacrifice with the Bifrost.
Hulk got straight hulked.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the movie ends, like, the credits start to roll, And we're just sitting there in silence.
Yeah.
The whole theater. Like, and this theater has been going crazy the whole time. And, you know, sitting and waiting for the end thing. And, like, I'm an emotional person, and that is in my family, and my son's an emotional person. And, like, I just reach over and, like, hold his arm, and we're both just sort of numb. And there was this sort of unspoken thing where it's like, we just need to get home. We just need to go home. So, like, there's no talking as we leave the theater and get into my car and drive home. And we get inside and sit down on the couch, and we both hugged and cried a little bit, like, because it was just so fucking, like, it was, and he, like, what got me, he goes, why did they have to kill Spider-Man and Groot? He's like, why those two? And it's like, because those are, it's like, those were the kids. Those are, like, kids are supposed to be safe. And that's
kids
the thing,
always
like,
have plot armor. No, they don't.
Right, because it's as random as anything else. I mean, obviously, they kept the big, like, I mean, they could have killed Captain America. I would have been fine with that.
I would have been fine if they killed Black Widow. I love Captain America. I would have died. Like, him and T'Challa are kind of like my favorites. I was surprised they kept Rocket and killed the entire rest of the Guardians.
Yeah, I know all of the Guardians.
Right, because, like, Drax, I'm like, fine. I find him super fucking annoying. Like, I feel like he is just a cliched character that is just irritating.
I think he's endearing.
Cutesy,
Mantis.
Mantis, it's just like, she's new, so obviously she's not safe. Like, any of the, you know, newer sort of side characters, but then it's just like, really, oh no, they're
Quill,
and Groot.
And Groot, that was nuts. Leaving only Rocket, who of course is the character who's most afraid of being abandoned and left alone by the people he cares for.
Well, I don't know if you guys have seen references to this yet, but so Spider-Man going was especially heart-wrenching for those of us who are Doctor Who fans. Because when David Tennant, I'm going to cry just talking about this, you guys.
You made fun of me for this years ago when I was talking about that Futurama episode.
I love David Tennant so much. Every time I watch this episode, I cry. And apparently I cry when I talk about it too. But when it's David Tennant's time to leave and make way for Matt Smith on the last episode, he's changing and he's regenerating. And he looks... Yeah, he just stops and he looks and he goes, I don't want to go.
Oh.
And they're literally verbatim the words that have just knocked the air out of me every time. Like I hate it so much that every time I watch that scene, I have to out loud tell David Tennant, I don't want you to go either. Like, doesn't matter where I am or who I'm with. Like, I have to tell him, like, every time I watch that scene, it kills me. It breaks my heart. And so then to have Tom, apparently he riffed that line, by the way. It was an ad lib.
Tom Holland?
So Tom Holland, who is so adorable and sweet and endearing as Spider-Man.
I know, right?
Like, I just want to hug him all the time. And he does, and he has that young, because has that young boyish charm, very similar to what David Tennant had as the 10th Doctor. And so, like, there's a lot of parallels there already. And then to have him say that and to be so, like, he is up there just fucking killing it. His acting so on point. Like, that kid is so good. And so when he said those specific words and he's in Tony's arms, I was
the only person that has made him feel like paternal and the whole
directly like, responsible for.
100%. And
there's also the whole, like, so in the very beginning when Tony is talking with Pepper about, like, I had this dream, you're pregnant. And then as he's leaving on the spaceship, she's breaking up, and she makes some, like, she makes something that could easily have been the sentence, like, oh, hey, so I found out I actually am pregnant, don't go and get yourself killed. And, like,
I didn't hear that.
Because I was waiting, like, I was waiting for that. Yeah.
Right, because you don't mention a pregnancy typically.
It's a Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
So that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. So it's
Gamora, like, that was hard to deal with because, like, I realized it before she did in the movie. I was like,
everybody. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, it was like obviously you're who. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be who he sacrifices, but just like her reaction.
And like, yeah, honestly, like before they got to the point where we knew what was going to happen, I was like, why is she with him? Like, I'd literally been thinking, like, why is she with him? Why is she like willingly going to find this stone with him? Like, he knows where he's going. Just stay over there. And then I was like, oh, like she had to be there. But yeah, that was really upsetting too.
But yeah, well, and obviously she knew, right, what was going to happen as far as she knew that like there wasn't going to be any way that he could succeed in getting the thing.
Yeah.
But like I loved that part is just showing like his complexities. Like it's not
for sure.
He's not evil. He's a bad guy.
Right.
He's the villain. But it's like, I mean, and we've talked about this before, the whole like just evil for evil's sake. Like nobody is like that. That's right. That's not how people are. At least there are certainly people who just want to be bad people, but they don't tend to be rulers. Like most people who are in charge of large, you know, swaths of resources and manpower and whatever, like believe what they're doing is right in some respect. Like there are convictions behind it. And like he has like it's not that he hates people. Yeah. He cares about people. He just thinks there's too many. And he really believes in this, that he's willing to give up the one thing that he loves. Now that doesn't make it. Yeah, it's just, it was
the conversation that he has with Gamora before that, when he points out, when she's like, you killed half of the people. And he's like, yeah. And do you know what's happening on your planet now? Like, no child is hungry. They have plenty. And I was just like, oh, shit, man. Like, real talk.
If you're a student of human history, unfortunately, Thanos is right.
Yeah, I know.
It was the Black Plague that basically made it possible for like the Europe that we now know and democracies and the common man to like be able to make a decent wage. The idea of a middle class. That's all because fucking 35% of Europe's population.
I mean, like, of course. I mean, I feel like everybody, you know, like logically in some way knows like, yes, overpopulation, you know, scarcity of resources, like the only way that you fix that is having fewer people consuming them. And if that were to happen because of some natural disaster, like that's horrible, but also it's the person who is like, I will personally take responsibility and put forth this plan of action to actually get rid of half of the people anywhere in the universe.
Yeah.
So fucked up.
It's crazy. It's totally yeah.
All right, you guys. Was Avengers Infinity War actually Thanos the movie? Go. Yes or no?
I don't know what you're asking, I guess.
Oh, this is something that like has been discussed online. Is the movie actually about Thanos? Is Thanos the protagonist? Yes, he's the villain, but is he also the protagonist? Is he the main character of the movie? Are the Avengers a series of boss fights that he has to go through to ultimately achieve his goal?
Yeah, but
I don't necessarily agree or disagree. I just wanted to get you guys' input since this has been bounced around a lot.
I mean, he definitely like scatters his minions and they take them on separately, which is not typically and they're heavily focused on when he's not even there. So I mean, that could be an argument against just saying, just because,
although none of the minions succeed in getting the stones.
Well, sure, but that's not my point.
Oh,
they succeed enough.
But yeah, there's enough focus on them that if the movie were,
I see.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like as it's going along, as the movie is going along, it's like he's just getting more powerful. Like, how are they gonna
stop him?
Yeah, how are they gonna pull out of this? Because it's gonna be some like, that's the thing. It's like, I don't want this to be some bullshit where like there's some
I agree.
Deus Ex Machina sort of thing where it's just like, how a convenient whatever happened. And
I mean, I assume Stephen Strange saw something, that there's only one way that it can go, and that involved Thanos getting what he wanted.
Right.
So we know that Captain Marvel is going to be coming in next. Right. Although her movie, you guys, it's going to be set in the 1990s. It's a 90s period piece. I am too old. I have lived too long.
for the 90s to be a period piece time period.
Piece. Yeah.
Well, that's why it was the pager he was using to contact her.
Right.
Yeah.
In the 90s, he's calling her, he's beeping her back in the 90s. Also, in the second Guardians movie, we had Adam Warlock, or what is probably Adam Warlock, introduced, who was crucial to the ending of the original Infinity War comic. So I assume that that's going to play in somehow.
So Max and I were talking, and we decided that Groot might still be around because part of him is Thor's axe. And he can regenerate from pieces of himself. So and I think that the axe was still there, so there's still...
Yeah, Thor survived and the axe. So, that's a good point.
So that may be one
of them. And then Rocket and Groot can just go live on a mountain somewhere in peace and quiet.
Poor Groot.
Yeah. I loved his surly teenage behavior.
It was wonderful. This is Groot. And they're all like,
I am Groot. It was, conveying a fucking teenage attitude through the words, I am Groot. I was so impressed.
I was like, all right, Vin Diesel, fine, you win.
Like, okay, I still want to slap you across the face. You guys are killing it. Right, that is correct. I have to say, when Gwyneth Paltrow came on the screen, I involuntarily double-birded that fucking cunt. I was so angry. I wish they would goop her right the fuck out of these films.
You know what? Maybe instead of a baby, she's going to have jade eggs.
Oh, please.
That's what's gestating inside her right now.
That's what she deserves.
It's true.
Uncleaned jade eggs.
Right out the cooch. Just lay back firing them.
Yeah, just her face entirely now just makes me very, very angry. So
yeah.
I was hoping she would bite it.
Alas.
In a beautiful visual way for me to enjoy and masturbate to later.
Oh, wow. That would be so hot. Can we market that?
Killing Gwyneth Paltrow?
I don't think we have the money for that.
Okay. And for our next Kickstarter.
I mean, people can make pretty convincing, like, facial recreations. We could just go get a snuff film and then pay someone to put Gwyneth's face on.
I'm not okay with it.
Right.
All right. Interesting.
So I guess we really didn't have to, like, will they or won't they with Vision and Scarlet Witch, because they just started out, and I was just
immediately.
Like, I thought, okay, they done been boning. Like, whoa.
As soon as we saw those characers, I was like, oh, like, Rissy, I'm sure loved this.
Yeah, I was like, wow, they just the fuck jumped in there. Yeah, no, I assumed what was going to happen is if they were going to go there, and I suspected that they would, it would be a confession of love towards the end, right? But no, they've just been fucking for 2 years. They've just been boning down like hard as diamond.
Good for them, I guess.
It's true.
It actually was less weird in this film than it was in God, what was it? Age of Ultron or
Civil War?
Okay. Yeah.
I agree. It was less weird.
Yeah. I was like, yeah,
it was like,
this seems normal. That's weird.
Right.
I think just because they it was just like, this is how it is. Go. So
I've been fucking a robot.
Yeah, I also was a little disturbed by their fucking killing, how they made the bodies look for Loki specifically.
Oh yeah.
And Vision, both of them.
Oh, when he's all grayed out.
They were both really unsettling, and typically in the past, like, Marvel's kind of kept things like, yes, the body is dead, but it still looks fairly normal, and I was just like, oh god, that's like a legit, like,
they look like they died in a horrifying fashion.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with Vision, where it's like, he didn't disappear.
No.
He would have been alive if he hadn't had like half of his head ripped out.
Yeah.
Right. And then he just goes all gray. I'm like, ah.
Yeah. It was unsettling. Not that I'm complaining. I want to be very clear. Not complaining. No. I think that was good. I think that was very good.
Intense. This was an intense movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think they did a great job with the pacing, just keeping it moving, and then they just thwack go in for the gut punch.
Yeah, it was
didn't give us any room to breathe, and then everybody
really
thinks
bad.
now it's time for the heroic comeback. No, we don't get that.
So there was one part where I was a little annoyed, and it was the whole like they're trying to get the gauntlet off of him.
Oh,
and
Quill.
Yeah, but not only that, like that kind of put the cap on it, but also it's like, why didn't they just cut his fucking arm off? Why were they trying to pull the gauntlet off? Why didn't they just chop his arm off? Like, that would have gotten it away from him. They didn't need to.
You can make a case either way, because the thing is, what if they try and his flesh is too solid because of the other stones, and then he wakes up, right?
Maybe, but I feel like that was a thing that you could have tried.
I don't know. I think it was overall the safer route to try just putting him to sleep and then getting it off of him. Because again, once you've tried it, and if it doesn't work or doesn't work pretty quickly, he's gonna wake the fuck up, and then you're screwed.
But also the whole like it does. I understand that you're very mad that she's dead, but also like bigger picture, dude. Come on.
Yeah, come the fuck on. Sure. I was so pissed at him.
Not yet. That one was
perfectly within keeping of his character, right? Because that's, Peter Quill's arc is having to undo all the shit that he's learned about toxic masculinity and how to respond to loss and trauma, especially as regards the women in his life. So yeah. I mean, it fits his pattern of behavior. I was just like, no!
Yeah,
it was kind of adorable in the theater when Peter Quill is like, I'm from Missouri, and everyone in the audience like cheered. Yeah. It's like, we're not at a concert, they can't hear you. Like, we all know that we're in Missouri, but
so when The Martian came out, and I went to see it in Chicago, specifically in the Hyde Park Theater, when Matt Damon's character says, the University of Chicago, my alma mater, the theater went fucking nuts. And yeah, it's like, no, it's not, all right, Chicago, are you ready to rock? But nobody cared.
Yeah, it was just kind of funny where it's like, woo.
Not from Earth, I'm from Missouri.
Yeah, that's all.
I loved how Tony Stark was really having to deal with other annoying alpha douche guys. That was great. Like, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards.
There was some great lines. There were some very funny, like, not overly campy, silly, like that. I mean, and I know I've talked, like, that's been my problem with Guardians. Like, I feel like it's too campy. And like that, especially with some of the other more recent Marvel movies that have been, serious to funny, but a little more highbrow, I guess. Like, that's not the right word, but I'm not sure. But yeah, this one.
They're aimed at an older audience, I would say.
Yeah.
For me, the campiness works, but only within the context of the Guardians movies, right?
Yes, and like it certainly does, and I mean that's clear with how much people like. That's just not a thing I'm a big fan of. Like, I'm not a huge camp fan. Like, that's just not my thing. So yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, God, in terms of camp levels, Kurt Russell playing Ego the Living Planet, talk singing Brandy, you're a fine girl. I don't know like what the rating is on that. That is like off the fucking charts on the Campometer.
I know. I also I have an intense dislike of him. So there's that too. Russell? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's because of Overboard.
Really?
Yeah. I
was just about to ask, like, hey, did you hear that they're remaking Overboard?
They had a trailer, and I'm like, oh, so it's okay now because it's the girl being rapey. Like, it's still fucking rape. It's a still very rapey story. I do not like it. It really bothers me. Like, that's why, and it's like, I know that's not him. It's the character that he was playing at the time, but it always just weirded me out, and I have not liked him ever since. And that movie came out fucking forever ago.
Late 80s, early 90s?
Probably.
Yeah.
Based on the like swimsuits and sunglasses she wore in the beginning, it was definitely 80s.
I didn't realize that the new Overboard was a remake of an old film.
Yeah, it's
You're
just
adorable.
Right,
That's because you're
just-
5 years younger than we are.
Yeah, I didn't know. So I just thought, oh, it's a new Anna Faris movie.
Yeah, no, it's a remake. I'm really surprised. Of all the movies they decided to remake, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah, like it's just one of those like, oh, can we not? Like I feel like
it doesn't update particularly well. It kind of belongs to like the Revenge of the Nerds kind of spectrum sort of thing, where just because the person ended up enjoying themselves, that doesn't mean that having sex with them under false pretenses is okay.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I like just had a big conversation about this with some of my friends. We were at a bar and they like where they play a bunch, movies playing on the various TVs, and Overboard started on one of them, and I was like, oh, I do not like this movie. And we like this whole thing, like, is it rape? And I'm like, yeah, it is, because he was tricked into thinking that she was his wife. Like, even if in that moment she was into it, like, there's a lot of manipulation that went into yes, it is.
Also, considering she suffered complete retrograde amnesia, I think you could probably make a case that she was not able to consent, like medically.
This kind of goes in with that Passengers movie.
Oh yeah, that
similar sort of Chris Pratt and J Law.
He wakes her up, and they're the only two people, but he tells her that she woke up just on her own the way he did.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that movie, so.
And he has a malfunction in his pod. He wakes up. He's the only one that no one else is going to wake up in his lifetime on this ship.
Yeah.
And he goes through and he finds Jennifer Lawrence's pod, and he decides to wake her up as well. And then he tells her, oh, our pod's malfunctioned, and they have a relationship, and it's very cute and sweet. And then she finds out, oh no, you chose that, and like they will not reach their destination or have anyone wake up before they die. Right. So this is her life now. Then they can't go back to sleep. So it's pretty. Yeah,
and the thing is, they marketed it as this like fun, squirrely, screwball romantic comedy, but then they put that twist in. It's like, why not just make them both wake up, right? Yeah, or maybe if he does it, it's by accident, not by choice, right? That he's fucking around with it, trying to make his pod work again, and he ends up...
Right, or even if you want that element of it, have him do it, and then, like, maybe lie about it for a minute, but tell her before they get intimate.
Before they fuck.
Yeah. Right, and then let her make that choice. Let her come to that decision knowing all the details. Wow, we have gone so far off the Infinity War track.
I know, right? Well, it's still related, though, because Chris Pratt is in it, I guess.
Sure.
Because the other thing is, I mean, on one hand, like, I think if they had showed him going slowly crazy due to loneliness, then it would have been slightly more, because, being in isolation like that is not good for humans. We go totally fucking nuts. But like if they actually made it seem like he was going completely off his fucking rocker, it would have made felt a little more justified. And then if he had told her before they fucked, like, I mean, there were ways they could made it less problematic, right? Like
I would have just airlocked myself out of there and been like, well, this sucks. Bye.
Bye. Deuces.
So.
Right. Because now you've consigned someone else to that same fate.
Exactly.
So
and what happens when one of you gets sick and dies and then the other one is left? Like, it just, there's so many problems
What
with
if
it.
you hate each other?
Yeah.
That's definitely.
What if she was gay?
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that. That would have been a funny movie.
Right?
Anyway.
Where he's like, now we can fuck. Oh, I'm gay. I'm sorry. No, I'm really gay. I'm not at all, I'm not
your
bi.
dick grosses me out gay.
Yeah, and he's just like, womp womp. And then it's like fun odd couple comedy, like.
and then he does nope himself out of the airlock, and she's by herself, so she goes and wakes up another girl, but she's straight. And the cycle starts all over.
So much wackiness.
This sounds awful.
I would watch that movie.
We should make that movie.
We should. Yeah, like our version of Passengers. Oh. Can I be Chris Pratt? I also.
That's a weird question, Rissy. Can I be Chris Pratt?
I mean, you're the blonde.
So. That's true. And I'm also one sandwich away from being fat. The part where they're all like caressing Thor. It's like an angel and a pirate had a
Yeah.
baby. And he's like, I had to kill my dad, and like, oh god, they're like dude off, and Thor just doesn't even fucking care.
Yeah, I loved it.
And him calling Rocket a rabbit, sweet rabbit. Like it was just so magical every time.
Oh, it was so good. I really loved it. I was very happy with it. In other films, I like not having happy endings in general. I think happy endings are bullshit.
Well, by and large, yeah.
We never get that in superhero films. No. So to finally get one, it's just, and I know it'll probably be fixed later, and we'll retcon the fuck out of it. That's a comic book thing. That's what we do. But it was just, it was really nice to just have that shock factor at the end of a superhero film and just be really, truly shook. That, because, man, I wasn't even, Amanda, you were kind of saying this earlier, but like, I was so much shock. Like, I cry at everything. I wasn't crying until those credits rolled, and I realized, like, I wasn't like, for a minute there, and then it was just like, we have to get out of here and go home, because like I can't just sit here, because like I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna start crying. It's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be like
sobs.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Marianne has pointed out in the chat. Shall we talk about Peter Dinklage?
Oh yeah.
Holy shit! That came out of nowhere for me.
I think, wasn't that in the second Thor movie, the one that I didn't see, but I'm pretty sure that's where they introduced that. I think
Peter Dinklage? I don't think so.
Okay. I thought, yeah.
I have not seen that Thor movie either, so.
I have. I mean, I don't remember all the details, but I don't know. I don't think.
But when he showed up, and then at the end, it was just like, just because Peter Dinklage is in it doesn't make it Game of Thrones. You don't have to fucking kill everybody. God damn it.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. When he showed up, I was just like, what is happening?
Oh, yeah, Marianne also points out, and Red Skull, because like when they showed up there, it was just like, that's the fuck?
Yeah.
Why is the Red Skull in here? It's also not Hugo Weaving.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, I thought they did a pretty good job with the voice.
I didn't realize it was a different guy.
I didn't.
Huh.
Somebody pointed out that when elves go bad, they go really bad. Because Hugo Weaving, who is Elrond, is the Red Skull. Kate Blanchett, who's Galadriel, becomes Hela. And then Lee Pace, who is Thranduil, becomes Ronan the Accuser in the first Guardians movie. So yeah, when Tolkien elves go bad, they go real bad.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, I thought that of all the cameos, I guess, or like characters appearing that we haven't seen in a while, I was like, Red Skull, what the shit are you doing here?
Yeah,
but I guess there was the thing that he had held one of the stones. So I guess if you remembered that detail from the previous movie, then that would make sense. I did not remember that detail.
Well, he mentioned it.
He did, which thank God. That did need to be kind of explained. And also, it is a pretty cool kind of like Tartarian punishment, right? Where he's, always, he knows the stone is there, but he's never going to be able to get it. He's eventually going to see somebody come and get it, and he can't ever have it. So that's, that's pretty good. And that's like,
it is. It's one of those like,
haha, Nazi scum.
Yeah.
Yeah, once it was explained and once I understood what the fuck was going on, then it made sense and was fine. But at first I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, we were definitely shocked. I was just like, what is going on here? So we should maybe think about wrapping this up.
Yeah, this is, oh God. Like, Amanda and I were just like, oh no, Blythe is the last one. Like, oh God, like, must talk. I know, like, as soon as, like, after we'd cried ourselves out, I was texting Rissy, and it was just like, holy shit.
Yeah. And it was like I can't talk about this movie at all without spoiling it, because it's like, did you like it? Yeah. But also, like, there were a lot of feelings, and there's no way to express any of that without giving the fact that, like, it's not a happy ending, like, but it's Yeah.
It's a good ending.
It's a
not a
great
happy one.
ending. Yeah.
It's actually a very, I don't know, literary or Oscar bait type of like ending, right? Where it's just like, whoa, total bummer, man.
Well, also, like, it makes sense. The way things were going, like, there was no way that he could have been stopped the way they were going. Like, they kind of held him off. But once he got a few of those, like, it just...
you're hosed. Which is, as people have pointed out online, that this is an actual tragedy, like a theatrical tragedy, right? The ending was never really in doubt, but that doesn't mean we didn't hold out hope until right the last fucking minute. That's what makes a good tragedy. That even though you know Oedipus is gonna fuck his mom, right, or already has, even though you know all that shit, you're still rooting for it somehow to be okay when you're watching Oedipus Rex. Like, somehow everyone was wrong. It was all a big mix-up. It's fine. The babies were switched at birth or some shit. No, that's never the case. You always, you know, the tragedy end is coming, but you always root for it not to be, and that never happens, and that's what makes it so good, because you get so emotionally invested in it. A lot of people have compared this to the ending of Empire Strikes Back, and I'm like, this is way darker. This was so much darker.
Yeah, I've heard that too, but I think that's just because it's like, in that it's clearly part of a series. Like, it's not the end.
And it's dark.
Right, it's dark. It provided
the good guys
a bit
didn't
of a
win.
Right, it provided a cliffhanger of sorts, and at least we don't have to wait 3 years.
There's that. But this was way fucking darker than Empire.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like everybody was still alive.
Have you guys seen the mashup? It's not a mashup. It's a God damn it, like a medley. It's not what you say for videos. But a video medley
compilation.
Yes, compilation of all the times that Benedict Cumberbatch has saved Tom Holland from himself.
No. Now I need to watch that.
They apparently pair them up a lot because Benedict is good at this shit. So anytime that they would send Tom out to do press interviews, Benedict would be with him to keep him in check.
From that, like,
because the running joke is Tom's the one who's going to spoil this shit. Like, Tom's the one who's going to let shit leak.
Oh, and
Tom's the one who's not going to think before he... So there's just this mashup of an interviewer asking a question and Tom starting to answer it and Benedict just shushing him in multiple ways.
That's amazing.
And it's also adorable and sweet.
Tom Holland also been rocking the red carpets. He, as my favorite fashion bloggers, Tom and Lorenzo, have pointed out, he's so young and he's so skinny that he can actually rock a double-breasted suit, which is almost impossible for most men because it really makes you look fat. But like, and they were like,
just a beanpole though, so
yeah. And he's like, not only can this kid rock a double-breasted suit, he can wear a t-shirt under it and it still looks good. They're like, he's the 1% of 1% of men.
Do not follow his advice, dudes. You can't do it.
Yeah, you can't do it. Yeah, it's true. Prince William always tries to wear double-breasted suits, and it's like, he's not a tubby guy, but it always like, it just, there's something about him on a man that like, badunk.
Anyway, all right, we should wrap this up for the second time.
Right.
So
it was good talking to you guys. I'm so glad we finally got to do that, though.
Yeah,
I know, because we like, this is the first time we have discussed any of this too. Like, we have been.
I didn't even mention it when I came out of the theater. I was like, "We're going to talk about it tomorrow. We're going to talk about it tomorrow."
I know. Like, I so wanted to send you something like last night or this morning and just be like, "So Avengers." I'm like, no, like I want to talk about this. I want to actually be able to talk about it, and that is not going to be effective over text. And yeah. So.
Let's talk about the war. Can we talk about the war?
Don't talk about the war. Whatever you do.
Anyway.
That's a good Faulty Towers reference, Blythe.
It wasn't.
Oh.
It was a can we talk about the mail? It's fine. I was circling us back to the podcast when we referenced let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail?
Yes. Okay, yeah, that. Oh, real quick. So the meme that I mentioned, the Frasier meme that I retweeted, it's like a screenshot from the Frasier TV show, and then somebody photoshopped it. So like they took the next screenshot, like of just him, and overlaid it and made it start to like break up into pieces. And then like here's Frasier, and then he's kind of moving, and then like so he's sort of fracturing, and then somebody captured it, Niles. And that's it. So it's like Frasier is dying in the Infinity War.
Oh no.
And so I was like, I'll retweet that.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Well, weird Twitter is really into Frasier, and Frasier-related memes. So it's like you have to kind of be into weird Twitter and weird Twitter memes and like Frasier and have seen Infinity War for any of this to make sense. So I felt pretty safe retweeting that it wasn't going to spoil anything.
No, that's fair. I think that's a
no. You would have had to have known what it was referencing to know what it was referencing. So yeah.
So yeah, that's my one like concession to memes that reference the end of Infinity War.
Fair. Okay, well this has been fun and cathartic, and I feel better now.
Yes, me too.
Yes. Which is the purpose of tragedy, after all, is to allow us catharsis.
Catharsis.
Let's cathart, y'all.
Don't stop bleeding. Okay, so we'll be back on Wednesday, of course. So thank you guys for listening. Let us know what you thought of Infinity War as well. Tweet at us, Facebook us, Dork Pride
Don't
Worldwide.
do that. Put comments on the video. Don't spoil things over.
Oh yeah, come to YouTube and come to YouTube and find this video, and that's a good point. We don't want to spoil shit.
Unless it's like 2019, then by all means tweet at us, because
if you're listening to this later,
right,
like in 2038, then tweet. Is Twitter still around in 2038? I don't know.
Are we still around?
It might just be beamed straight into our brains by then, which I would be okay with.
I'd be okay with that too.
Maybe there will have been an apocalypse and there are no more cookies, and then like.
So I'm probably dead if that's the case. So Samantha.
I'll be gardening so hard, y'all.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Gardening.
Gardening. Nobody gardens harder than me. I don't know what this is. All right, you guys. Thanks for joining us. Let us know what you thought in the comments here on YouTube, and we
nowhere else.
See you next week.
Wakanda forever. Wakanda forever.